everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away, a podcast devoted to all things in and around the world of sport in Kansas City soccer. I am Drew Vanderploeg, joined once again, as always, by my good friend Cody Welton. This week on the podcast, well, we had a bunch of wonderful news last week of rumors of potential player acquisitions and all these transactions that we thought might potentially be moving forward, and we have a lot of fun things to talk about this week regarding how this roster was being built out, and nothing. Nada. What is the phrase? You'll get nothing and like it?
Uh-huh.
That is exactly what this fan base was dealt over the last week. No new news. Literally nothing. Mike Kuhn does a pretty good job on the Discord of advising us of when these supposed targets, what's going on with them as far as like with their current clubs. This is your weekly reminder to join the Discord. Links in the show notes. Participate in the conversation. There was quite a conversation today, which was not a topic I was expecting it to be, but we'll get to that here in a moment. I did work on my pronunciations of Norwegian defensive midfielders. This is the last time I'm going to work this hard on it as far as like say it this way, because I am not from Norway and I am not going to be able to figure out how to say this way all the time. But I believe it is pronounced Lasse Birge Jonsson. That is how it's pronounced. We'll see if he ends up getting signed by the club. I'm sure there will be a phonetic spelling. We'll probably hear him say his own name, and then we'll get to a much more anglicized version of it like we've done with Daniel Shallowy. But at any rate, there is no new news.
Johnson works. Let's just go with Johnson.
I mean, it looks like Johnson. It definitely looks like Johnson to me. At the SEN, though, right? Not John. You know, there's
yeah.
Don't even get me started
Big
about
difference.
the text conversation I had with Sam about basketball players for Shawnee Mission in the mid-'90s. There were apparently like 4 Johnsons, and one of them was spelled Jonzen. It's absurd. We're not going there. What I will say is that
it might be more entertaining than talking about the status of the squad.
It might be more entertaining. It really might be more entertaining than that. We have no new news. Jonsson played in played like a half in a friendly, but like I think we talked about that last week. I think as I said, maybe we didn't, but we talked about it on the Discord. I don't know that means much given the fact that he's in preseason. You may need him to, get some sharpness. Yeah. Diego Borges, I believe that is the correct way that is pronounced. He was held out of his team's game this weekend, but we've heard nothing about a potential transaction moving forward with him. He's, like I said, he was held out, but he also doesn't start every week. But for him to not even be on the bench is noteworthy, I think.
Right.
So maybe there's something there. I don't know. We've heard nothing. No one
all we
tells
can do
us
is
anything.
look for smoke. That's all we can do.
Literally,
Signals.
we're scouring the internet for like news of any kind because it's. The walls of the Sporting Kansas City offices are like a safe at this moment, which is like a more secure safe than it even was in the past for some reason. Kapita Kapemba, his coach came out in the press conference and said, "Oh, he loves being here. His wife loves it here in East Central Poland." He's not going anywhere.
Just the way you said that just makes it sound so skeptical.
I don't know about I'd love to move to East Central Poland, wouldn't you?
No, I would pass.
It's like, I mean, it's an old. I actually looked up Radom to see like, it's like originated in the 10th or 11th century. It's been around for a long time, as a lot of those Eastern European cities have been.
The problem, it's beautiful and everything. The problem is you actually have to like eat the food and stuff there, and that's a no, man.
It's about the size of Springfield, Missouri. So he's got that going for him. They don't have any Springfield Cardinals there in Radom, though. So like, how are they going to do that? I mean, no Missouri State athletics in Radom, Poland. So I'm just saying. I don't know. Like the coach of Radomiak is a known blowhard. Like he's like a mid to late 30s-year-old Brazilian coach who like had somehow worked his way up to being the head coach of Legia Warsaw and like coached them in a Champions League match against Chelsea, and then was like on the list to become the head coach at Rangers and didn't get that job. And next thing I know, he's at USL Dunkirk, and now he's at the Radomiak. Things haven't gone so well for this guy, and he's just a known blowhard. So so he starts Capita and plays him 90 minutes in this game. He gets sent off for saying wild shit. I think he was like accusing the other team of being corrupt or something like that. There was like some sort of corruption going on.
The coach got sent off.
The coach got sent off, yeah. Right. No, Capita played 90 minutes. Right. The coach got sent off, and it was a pseudo derby of some kind in Poland. I don't know if I want to call it a derby, but from what I can gather from my internet searches, again, there's nothing else to really look into regarding this team, so we're just getting into the weeds of the Polish Ekstraklasa, but there is. This was apparently some sort of rivalry match, and they lost 2-0. Coach got sent off for accusing, I think, the ref or the opponents of corruption, and then some of the Radomiak fans charged a drunk Radomiak fan charged the field, tried to get in a fight with one of the players. And another fan jumped on the field and threw a bottle at the staff of the opponent team and literally broke it on his head, and he had to go to the hospital. So this sounds like a great place for Capita to be and just continue his career for as long as humanly possible. I really have no idea if Kapemba is close to being signed or not, but I do think that there is quite the telenovela happening in the Radom right now, and I don't know that it's of Cesar Inga levels of will he, won't he, but it's more just me getting invested in what the hell's going on with this team in general, and that is our rumors update. Any thoughts about any of this?
I mean, it's just absurd, man. Your story is absurd and funny, but just the fact that we're sort of in this position, grasping at these straws, is just the height of absurdity. And the season starts on Saturday, so hooray!
Yeah, they could sign these guys. They could have signed these guys yesterday. It doesn't matter. They're not playing on Saturday, so yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully that some of these are moving forward. We've been given no indication if they are or if they aren't. It would be nice to just, hear from the club at all about any of this.
Yeah.
There's media day next week.
Yeah. They'll hopefully someone will ask them about the hefty fine they'll have to pay for not being roster compliant on Friday.
We've looked into this. Actually, Daniel Sperry looked into this, and apparently there's no fine. They just have to pay the senior roster minimum for the slots they can't fill.
Okay, so the fine is us making fun of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
We can do that then.
Yeah. I think it's probably the first time since this iteration of the salary cap that people have not been able to fill their senior roster slots.
We need an army of two poles in the cauldron.
I'll fill your senior roster slot.
Why not?
Yeah. Pick me. I'm senior roster compliant. That should be the tuple. It leads to a question. It leads to a legitimate question. And I'm going to say this as kindly as I can. What the fuck is going on, man?
Lee is a huge Olympics fan, and he's been consumed with watching the Olympics during the day. And
U.S. curling is playing great right now, and so I understand the draw.
He's into it.
Women's bobsled.
Yeah.
We got the mono bob. We got the gold and the bronze, I think, in the women's mono bob. Yeah. Both of them were over 40. Fuck yeah, let's go over 40. I'm gonna join the Olympics. Let's do this. But seriously, what is going on? How this is, we've gone, I feel like I'm going through the 7 stages of grief right? Where it's like the bargaining stage and the anger stage and all these other things. And now I'm just like the acceptance, I guess. I don't know where I am with this.
I mean, you have to accept that you don't have a choice. There's nothing we can do to change it. It's really frustrating. But I think it's just a confluence of like really a perfect storm of shit that's like leading us to this point. Um, it's everything from ownership, given Peter Vermes carte blanche to do whatever the fuck Peter Vermes wanted to do. It's not cutting away from him at a time when they should have, before he signed his last contract extension. It's allowing him to do everything instead of wrestling some of the control away from him. It is not being prepared to move quickly when he was let go. It is so it's all of those things. It's taking a long time to find a CSO who, I think that we probably still would agree that until we have seen otherwise, that they probably made the right move, or at least appear to have made a justifiable move. And then you get to this, and the fact is that MLS just in general is in a really weird spot with with regards to the sprint season next year, with regards to the status of the summer window following this winter window, and the summer windows. There's going to be many more games after the summer window than there usually is, and so I think that has to factor in to the lack of urgency. I mean, I would hope that it does. I mean, we have to look for some reason.
Well, you hope it's
right?
not incompetence, right? Like,
Right.
like at least if you get to that mentality or that sort of decision making philosophy, you can go, okay, well, these guys aren't dumb. They're just like they recognized at some point the ability to accomplish what they set out to accomplish in the first place wasn't realistic.
Right.
And they sort of extended it and said, okay, well, it's okay if we push some of this to the summer and get some more structure in place so that we're making decisions that we like.
Yep.
I mean, I hope that that's the case. I really do.
I mean, to me, that's the logical explanation, and it is sort of defensible based on that logic, even though it's not really palatable to.
I don't know how defense. I mean, it's defensible in a vacuum. I don't know if it's defensible after 3 years of similar sort of kicking the can down the road.
Completely agree. It is defensible when you think about like the long term feasibility and viability of this CSO and his sort of build out plans, but it's not defensible. You're exactly right, for the fans who are having to suffer through this. We had one of the worst teams last year in MLS, and
I mean, statistically it was the worst,
right?
like historically, the worst in ASA's history of like charting teams for what 13 years now.
Yep. And there is zero reason at this point to think that it's going to be any better. In fact, it's likely going to be worse unless Rafa Wiki is an amazing fucking coach. Like, there's only so much you can do, right? When you don't have players, when you don't have qualified depth at every position, there's only so much you can do with a roster. I mean, you just think about it. Just think about it just purely in terms of pressing, right? Like almost every team in professional soccer, really, when you think about it, almost every team can impress at least a little bit, and wants to press at least a little bit. You have such a short roster that you can't really press, and so that
pressure seems to actually be a component of what Wiki wants too.
Right,
like if you watch these preseason games, they aren't sitting back.
Right, but given their short, their tiny squad, how are they going to be able to press into May and June? They're not. Right.
I mean, the only thing they have going for them is they only play once a week.
Yeah,
like they only play once a week,
and half their players are under 25. Right. I mean that helps.
I mean, you put those two things together, and I guess maybe you can kind of get away with it, but there are going to be injuries, there are going to be fitness issues, there's going to be a variety of. You're going to have to rotate, and who do you rotate to?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you mentioned injuries. You think like if Decky gets injured, like that's it. Like who's like
Shallowy, I
Daniel
guess,
Shallowy, right?
And then who plays the 10?
Right.
Frifa?
Right.
Like what are you?
It becomes just laughable, like really, really quickly, and they have no one but themselves to blame for this, right? For the status of the roster. Like they don't have to be this threadbare. They don't.
Thomas Frank would look at this and go, "This is terrible."
Right.
Like he was complaining about all the injury issues the last couple weeks at Tottenham before he got fired. He would think this is like he would think that situation is great by comparison.
The Saputo brothers would look at this roster and be like, "What the fuck is going on down there? Come on!"
I mean, it's absurd, man.
Yeah,
it's
really
absurd. I mean, I gotta believe. So, I gotta believe at some level. You know, you discussed relying on Peter Vermees so much. I do think they did that, and I do think that happened. And I also think that there's a component of this where the Illigs didn't really question too much about what Vermees was doing and how he did it.
Think of the hundreds of thousands of dollars he was saving them in front office salary. Like I mean, the dude was working like the
Mike
job
Illig
of
goes
6
to those
different
board
people.
of governors meetings and they're like, "What? You spend $3 million on your front office? What? I have one Peter Vermees. I'm good."
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there's a component of that. There's a component. I mean, there's a P&L aspect to everything when it comes to running a soccer club. It's a business just like anything else, and you're managing a profit and loss statement just like anything. But I do think, I think that Vermees had built up a certain level of trust within the ownership group.
I think trust is even underselling it. I think that he, like I said, he basically had carte blanche, it sounds like, right?
It feels that way. It feels like no one was really checking to see, like, hey, is this in any way sustainable?
Yeah. Instead, it was just get Peter what he wants. Oh, he wants Manu? Okay, we had to sign Shappy too? Sign him up.
Or, okay, I mean, he finally complains about having money. Okay, here's some money, dude.
Yeah.
We good. I mean, we haven't had to give you money for 15 years, so we'll give you some now.
Yeah, I mean, and in retrospect, what they should have done is, you know, if you want to sign him to a contract extension or a new contract, fine. But they should have like made sure that there was a front office build out when that happened to protect against this eventuality, right? So that at least that there was something in place for when he left. But that's
and I think that's I think they started to try to do that with Mike Burns, but I'm not sure that was the most. I mean, well, they started with someone else, and then they went to Mike Burns,
right?
And again, neither choice was really that inspiring,
right?
And I think Vermees does have some blame for that, right? It's like and to be fair, what we talked about this when Burns was hired. What self-respecting CSO candidate wants to work for Peter Vermees? They know what they're getting into, and apparently everyone in the league knew it because they weren't really that interested in they didn't have the although they did. I mean, Ricardo Moreira was part of that candidate pool when they hired you know who.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of obvious, there's a lot of people learning on the job. Let me put it that way, because for the longest time, they didn't have to do anything because Peter did it all.
Yeah.
And when they finally had to reckon with the fact that he had to go, which I think we all agree had to happen and probably should have happened 18 months before it did, but it had to happen. And they had to reckon with the fact that they had to let him go, and then they had to unpack what that really meant. None of them really knew.
Yeah.
Really knew. And the fact that they weren't aware of the magnitude of the work necessary to replace this guy and to build up a full soccer operation when they're inside the building is absurd to me. Like, you and I just talk about this team, and we don't even do it for a living. We just do it because we like it, and we know other people like hearing about it, like listening to it. we're not professionals in this environment whatsoever. And we said over and over and over again, this would be an absurdly difficult, monumental task to try to replace Peter Vermees and all the things that he did. And we're just viewing it from the outside. Mm-hmm. How the fuck do the people inside the building not see this and have some sort of succession plan in place?
Well, I think that, like I told you before we started recording, I think that really a lot of it has to do with the fact that this club has always, ever since I've started following this club, it's always seemed like incredibly siloed, right? You never had a lot of influx of either players or coaching staff coming from other clubs in MLS, going to other clubs in MLS. There was not a lot of that sort of like cross-pollination that happens with a lot of clubs, and so because of that, I think that ownership just became very sort of walled off from the reality that other clubs go through. And the reason that we were pointing things out is because we follow Sporting Kansas City, but we also pay attention to other teams in the league and see, we can sort of read the tea leaves in terms of what's happening with other clubs, how other clubs are managing, roster compliance and squad building and all of those things, because those things are interesting to us. Those things are not interesting to them, right? They're interested in the bottom dollar, and for a long time, I think that the bottom dollar was not an issue until it was, and then by that time, everything was kind of fucked because it was all bound up in one dude.
Well, the bottom dollar is going to fucking hit him right where it hurts this year.
Amen. There's, I say this as a season.
I mean,
there's zero reason to go out to Children's Mercy Park.
They're already doing 50% off things for the home opener, man.
Yeah, that's
the
bad.
Home opener.
Yeah, there's no juice at all. Like, they have beautiful kits, but like the team that's wearing those kits is going to be ass. Like, they're going to be bad, historically bad, and there's not much. There's like no reason for optimism. I'm sorry, there's not. Like, it's just at this point, even all the national pundits are just looking at the roster. They're like, yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. And
I think Michele Giannone said like the two biggest locks for last place in MLS history are Sporting Kansas City and the Montreal Impact, or Club de Foot. Montreal.
Yeah, we are one of those clubs now. It's a laughingstock kind of situation, and especially because there hasn't been any movement, right? And so the club's not even making moves for pundits to celebrate or criticize. It's just all quiet and dead. And I
mean, Cody, they signed Wyatt Meyer and Jaden Reed. Okay, they signed two players this month.
They've signed the two players they could sign. They brought it on trial. So, okay.
I'm frustrated. I don't know how I'm back in the anger stage of grief here, because I've sort of gotten to a place of acceptance, really, where I was just like, this team's going to be shit. And I'm just going to try to evaluate the tactical ideas. And I will say, like, the preseason games have given me something that I'm sort of interested in seeing. Yep. I do like some of the players that they have signed. I think Justin Reynolds does have upside. I really do. He's not the complete product by any means, but I'm okay with using your right back spot on a 21-year-old with upside that has attacking ideas. Like, I think that's the big thing that I noticed from him. So, like, I do think there's stuff in there. I think Zoran Basong is the shithead we need. We need one of those on the team. You kind of need that guy, right? Like, sure, Roger's not around. Zoe doesn't back off from putting in a tackle and getting somebody's face and sort of mixing it up. And I do think you need that guy, and none of the rest of the roster is that guy. So, like, there are some aspects of what I see that I'm sort of like, okay, Ian James, I think, is going to play a lot of fucking minutes.
He's not going to have a choice, man.
Well, no, but I think he's supplanted Jansen Miller. Like, I think he's the starting right center back on this team. which is saying something for a 17 and a half-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, I've been high on this guy for years, but I'm excited about the potential of him. Like, nothing will improve Ian James like having to play real minutes for an MLS team for half a season. We'll see where it is come the summer, but I think he's going to play a lot up until the World Cup break, and that's good for his development.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, like, even if that means when he's 19, we're selling him for $10 million to some other
Hopefully
team.
that's what that means. I mean,
But I think that in the short term, I like to see that development of a player like that. So I like Manu in the double pivot. I like there are things about what they're doing with the team that can't even fill out a senior roster. Like the roster is what it is. What Wiki is doing with what he has is somewhat interesting, at least. So I'm trying to like find other way. Like that was where I sort of got to the acceptance stage.
yeah.
And then I got into a place where I was just like, I'm trying to rationalize like how this happened. And I go straight back to angry.
Yeah.
Because it just speaks of a complete like either unwillingness or naivete related to where they were.
Yeah. I think it's a
unwillingness to understand or like accept the reality of where they were, or a naivete to like to recognize it, right? Or an ignorance, right? It's one of the two, and it's not great either way.
I think there are two ways that this could be substantially worse. The first way is that either Vermes or Zavagnin was back coaching this team, and this roster, and this, because at least now we get to see some sort of new and fresh ideas, so that makes it interesting. And then the other way that it could be worse is if they were wearing the Tina Turner jerseys. That would be really fucking bad. So,
which is a personal affront to Tina Turner.
It is,
like I said last week, it's absurd.
It is a personal affront to anybody with eyes. And so luckily we don't have to deal with either one of those things. So it is going to be at least a little bit interesting to see how Wiki deals with the cards he's been dealt. Because, man, I'm telling you, that dude, whatever that dude is making, he should probably get a raise already, just based on the shit the sandwich that he's being served by Lee. Because he doesn't have any players, right? He doesn't even have enough players to play, as we discussed earlier, 11v11 in practice, right? Like, you're having to do 8v8 or 9v9 in practice because you don't even have a full squad. It's his work is definitely cut out for him when you look at the size of the roster, the talent level of the roster, the age of the roster. I mean, the dude's gonna have to really coach his ass off to make any kind of an impact at all. And so, that part of it, like, especially for you and I, and probably most of the folks on Discord, like, there's interest there, right? There's a fascination with like how he's going to put the pieces together, what buttons he's going to push, et cetera, et cetera. But it's all against the backdrop of this huge like dumpster fire of a roster build, and on one hand you feel sorry for the guy, on the other, and I'm still talking about Wiki. On the one hand you feel sorry for him, but on the other hand, like the excuses are ready made for him, right? Like that part of it is frustrating. We've heard excuses for the past couple of years. We don't want to hear excuses anymore.
Well, and we made the excuses for him when he was the coach of the Fire, and he had to work for Georg Heitz's shit roster that was given to him. Granted, it was a full roster; it was just full of shit players. But still, like, this is the second time now around in MLS for Wiki, and he's being dealt a shitty hand. And I mean, it's good for him, I guess, to be able to like look at. What do you want me to do? We had 14 guys. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
I mean, he took the job, right? So like, he knew at some level that this was going to be.
Yeah, he's been clear in the press conferences when everyone asks him. Whenever anyone's like, "Hey, what do you think about the fact that you have no players?" They're like, "That's not my job. I'm coaching the players that David brings me." And they quite literally, like, someone asked him after the Austin FC preseason match, the last preseason match, about like rumors about these rumored players. And he's like, they were like, ask David. Like, well, first of all, how the fuck are we supposed to ask David? He doesn't make himself available to media.
Right.
I mean, he will next week for media day. But I think that's the other problem that fans are having with all of this is there is just this dearth of information related to anything the club is attempting to do.
Why is media day after the first game of the year?
Because it's usually before the home opener. They do it before the home opener.
Gotcha.
They do it when the whole team is there.
Sure.
So they do it at the stadium, and it's, Wednesday or Thursday before the home opener. But, like, how are you supposed to engage in what's going on or hold people accountable for not accomplishing the things they said they would do?
Yeah.
We're a long way from double-digit signings. Now, granted, I'm not sure he said, like, double-digit signings by when.
Right.
But, I mean, at the beginning, during Rafa Wiki's press conference.
That was 3 windows. Double-digit signings in 3 windows.
No shit. Like, and we've been fed this fucking nonsense so many times. Like, I understand why fans are frustrated by it. Mm-hmm. I feel like I went on this rant, like, 3 weeks ago. I don't mean to do it again, but I am really concerned. So, like, I did have this conversation with Chad Reynolds via text about the fact that we both have some concerns about, like, what has happened to this club that we know and have loved for a long time. And, like, this club used to be the model of how a club should be run.
Right.
And now it looks like a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like, I could square having bad seasons and not performing as well, and maybe we don't have the investment, so we're punching above our weight, or we're doing any of the things that Vermes did in the past. I can't square looking unprofessional.
Yeah.
And that is what we look like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Disorganized and unprofessional.
Yep.
And I don't want to put words in fans' mouth, but I think that's probably irking them a lot more than the Griffin Dorsey sign for $1 million in GAM in Orlando. And let's talk about that and why we didn't sign that guy. I think it's much more related to the fact that my team has become a laughingstock of this league.
Right.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, and it's not like one of the really frustrating things. It's not even laughing stock in the way that, like, most teams, like, DC or Montreal are traditional laughing stocks. Like, you just sign shitty players and a shitty coach, and we can all laugh at you. They're just not signing anybody. Like, we can't even poke fun at that, right? It's just
you ostensibly hired away a CSO from a club that was very successful with the intent on doing something big.
Right.
And you've done almost nothing since.
Yeah. Will Meyer.
Wyatt Meyer.
Wyatt Meyer.
You're never gonna get his name right.
I know. I don't know what the fuck
my deal is. It's such a suburban white kid name that you're gonna call him Caleb at some point. Like, it's gonna happen.
Probably.
Caleb with a K.
That's probably why I called Jansen Miller Jansen, just to
Jansen.
just to get it in my head.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the whole Griffin Dorsey debate, I mean, this was. I want to talk about the experience of it more than, like, what it was really about, because I don't think the content of the actual, like, signing was really really what people were fired up about. It was more that here's another move happening within the league at a position we could potentially need help in. I mean, Granted, Sporting needs help at almost every position. So, like, literally any signing in the league is a position they potentially need help in. But Griffin Dorsey goes to Orlando from Houston for $1 million in GAM, and people are already going, well, man, why didn't we get in this? First of all, there's no fucking way I'm paying $1 million in GAM for Griffin Dorsey. Zach, I hear you. I see your comments on the Discord. I understand what you're talking about. This is not an example of it. Zach was talking about how people, it's common for us to be like, that's an overpay, or, you often do, you analyze it. And I think Chad at that point said a lot of that is cope, and I agree. Most times it's cope. This is not cope. This is a wild overpay for most MLS teams. I think for a team that just lost Alex Freeman, has a ton of GAM in the coffers, and needs someone that does something similar to what Freeman did for them, I understand why they signed Dorsey.
And this is a team that's ready to compete right now, right? And
but they also run so much of their offense through their fullback. On a team like that where Alex Freeman did so much of their offensive workload, you need someone who does something similar to that for them. Yeah. Whether Dorsey's going to actually work for them or not, I have a lot of concern. I mean, if I'm an Orlando fan, I have concerns. Yeah. But I think when it comes to like evaluating this, you have to evaluate it team by team and what the needs are. And I don't want to make it seem like, we have all this spending capability and we're kind of getting into analysis paralysis about how well we spend it and making sure we maximize the ROI for every dollar. I don't think it's necessarily that, as much as when we talked about a couple weeks ago, we did the Soccer Wiser version of roster building. We both sort of agree with the fact that you don't spend money on fullbacks. Yeah. Like that's a dumb place to spend money in MLS.
Yep.
In fact, we bemoaned how much money was being spent on fullbacks for this team in the past, and I'm fine rolling. I mean, if we're gonna roll this roster, Justin Reynolds is fine right now. Mm-hmm. I understand if we have a complete roster and we're not getting enough out of the fullback position, and you need to sort of do something there. Okay, maybe you make a move, but we do not have a complete roster.
No. There are way more important spots that need to be filled, and spending that much money on that player is just a mistake.
But again, I don't even think it's the content of the transaction as much as it is they did this.
Totally.
Why aren't we doing things?
Well, I mean, it shows at least, a level of ambition that we have yet to see from this new regime. And, all I'll say is that the nicest thing that I can say about Dorsey is that he's on my Mount Rushmore of MLS punchable faces.
Yep.
So, right
next to David Bingham. Yeah. I'm trying to think of Felipe's. His face isn't punchable. I just want to punch him. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, Felipe, that guy. I mean, he just. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, always was just an instigator. As Charlie Murphy would say, a habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
That Felipe was.
I like that.
But yeah, definitely a punchable face.
I mean, here, and the thing is, like I can pretty much promise you that even though some fans would have been like, "Oh, Griffin Dorsey," like if Sporting had signed him because it's a player whose name you might recognize, when it comes to watching him play on the field, I think that would have gone away pretty quickly, and people would have been very frustrated.
The shine would have worn off very fast. I agree with that. I would agree with that. And I think, there was an analogy about buying a car. It's like, you have no car, you should buy a car. And in fairness to Justin Reynolds, Sporting Kansas City owns a car. It's not a car you're familiar with. It's not the most expensive car. No. Let's be honest. Like, we're talking about a 10-year-old Kia here. That's okay. Well, maybe that's. I was trying to think of like what's a good one that you can bolt a turbo and nice suspension to. Not a 10-year-old Kia. You're not doing that.
No.
But I do think that there's upside for Reynolds as far as like where he can be at some point, and I think that Dorsey is what he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would have substantively raised the ceiling of this team at all.
No, and so that alone makes it not worth that outlay of cash. If you have younger players who are maybe have higher ceilings, who can slot in developmentally, especially at those outside back spots, that's how you spend those roster spots. You don't spend it on a player Dorsey's age and Dorsey's wage.
So as we look at like kind of how things have gone over the last 3 months, the limited action, the limited amount of information of any potential action, is it fair to like at least sort of surmise as to there being something going on in the building that's sort of limiting how or causing, I don't know, causing just some sort of like causing confusion as to who's in charge per se?
I mean, you kind of got to think that, right? Because like nothing's going on. There's just the lack of urgency is really surprising, and not just to us, the people who follow the team. It's surprising to everybody across
David Lee
MLS.
doesn't seem like a dumb person that doesn't understand what needs to happen here, right? So like what the world?
So it's being slow played either because of shit happening behind the scenes that's keeping things from moving forward. There's a bottleneck of some kind, or it's being slow played on purpose because of some of the things that I mentioned earlier, the weird shit going on with the schedule and the World Cup and all of that stuff. So I mean, you can, and it could be both of those things at the same time, right?
Or
but there's
nobody
definitely
knows who their boss is because they just found out a couple weeks ago that their boss is changing.
Yeah.
But we're not sure when.
That would do it.
But old boss is still in charge for now.
Yeah. Why would you do anything if your old boss was still in charge, but you knew that your old boss was not going to be your boss in a month or two, maybe?
Maybe. Or who knows?
Or maybe he was going to be your boss. You don't know yet. Everything's just kind of unknown.
But big boss is sort of telling little boss what to do now. Yeah. What's happening?
Yeah.
I could see how that would complicate situations.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about spending money on transfer fees and things like that. I'm not suggesting that I've heard that's the case. I'm just saying that
we're just putting two and two together.
It's not a hard line to draw.
No, it's not.
That there could be some, just overall just confusion as to, not even confusion, but just complication to like how you think you're doing things.
Yeah.
And I
something's going on. Like,
well, I mean, everyone there knows that something's going on.
This is not normal.
But all of them found out about it as they're attempting to rebuild this team.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a crazy situation to be trying to navigate while you're also trying to spend several $1 million on players, right? And also get those millions of dollars sanctioned by who?
Yeah. Do you really have that many millions of dollars? I mean, like where's the budget line actually coming from? Like, who are you listening to?
And who's actually responsible for paying this money?
Yeah. It's what we like to call a soup sandwich. It's kind of fucked up.
The old soup sandwich, man. I haven't heard that since the Army days. That's a very common Army phrase. Like drill sergeants would be like, "Private, you look like a soup sandwich." Or a football bat. That was another one they used.
I've never heard that one.
Sense. But... Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Football bat? What do you use that for? So yeah, I mean, I wish we could end this part of the pod on a higher note. But I think that we're both just sort of processing the state of this club as it is, as it means to go play a game on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty absurd, the state of where it is. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have to eat my hat. Like I came dangerously close. Like, bro, they only signed 3 fucking players. I was like, there's no way. I literally could have had to eat an entire hat.
Yeah.
Like we were much closer to that scenario than I would have liked.
Oh, and we definitely would have cranked up a Patreon for that shit.
That would, well, can make some money. At least I can make some money off the despair of this team.
You're wearing a hat that says pretty much broke. I'm just trying to help you out.
I mean, so is this team, apparently. Okay.
No, I know that we talked about this already, but like I just keep coming. Like we have listeners who drive from Springfield or from Omaha or from Wichita to watch games. How the fuck are you going to justify doing that to watch this collection of players? Like, I mean,
you don't want to drive from Lee's Summit to do that.
I really don't. And I love this team and I love going to Children's Mercy, but it's like, Jesus Christ, are you serious? I mean, it's, and you feel so helpless as a fan. Like, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to call my rep and bitch about the players they haven't signed.
Right. I feel so bad for the social media intern, or the social media. I shouldn't say intern. The social media managers and like the people that run the socials.
What are they supposed to do?
I mean, and the season ticket reps. Those are the people that have to deal with all the angry fans.
Yeah.
David Lee can just tell Rafa Wiki to say "Ask David" and never show up to anything.
Right.
It's like, bro, your job is to make this fucking roster work. I understand you are in a difficult situation. We've spent months describing how difficult this situation is. I understand that. But in those months, you could have fucking done something. I'm sorry I'm getting like aggro about this. But if over 3 months of my job responsibility, I hired a couple performance analysts and signed 3 fucking players.
Yeah.
Well, I was hired to be the president and general manager of this club for the next 7 years. That is a fucking negation of your job responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And frankly, what the fuck have you been doing? Like, what have you actually been doing? How do you spend your days? Like, why?
I mean, I don't even want to say that. Like, I mean, you never know what a person's day is filled with, but it obviously wasn't filled with the activities that make this team better. Because the team would be better than it is if it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a rebuilding project and a process that's going to happen over a period of time. That doesn't mean that you get to sort of absolve yourself from doing anything right now.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We had another preseason game. Everyone feel great now? I feel great, don't you?
Well, I mean, look, if we're still talking about this shit in the summer window, right? When and there hasn't been
February 17th. They've signed
right.
3 fucking players.
But I mean, if there hasn't, if the window closes and there's not a mad break to hire, build out front office staff, et cetera, so that this doesn't happen the next window, like this is the kind of thing that like this has the potential just to snowball. It already has snowballed, and at some point you just have to arrest the shit, right? You have to arrest the momentum, and you have to solve the problems.
And I want to be clear about something. I think there are things coming. I do feel confident in that there are things coming.
Double-digit things?
I don't. I would be amazed if that was the situation. I think there are things coming.
Will you eat your hat if there's double-digit signings?
I will eat my hat if they're double. No, well, hold on. Depends on how. Hold on. We need to couch this one. I actually like this hat. I don't want to eat it. There are. It depends on how he. So, like, did double-digit signings include Jaden Reed and Wyatt Meyer? Because if so, I'm not. I'm definitely not eating my hat.
Yeah, I mean, they would have.
Is Calvin Harris included in double-digit signings? So we would need 7 more before the window closes. I don't think they'll get there, but I'm not willing to wager eating a hat on it.
That's fair. You're a coward, but that's fair.
I like this hat. It's a cool hat. I do think that there are things coming, but I don't think that they're substantive enough to really address the larger issue.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, let me put it this way. Even if we said this last week, even if they sign Johnson, Borges, and Capita, they still can't make a senior fucking roster.
Right. And I think that one of the things that gets overlooked is the fewer players you sign, the more imperative it is to get those signings not only right but like perfect. Like you have to knock it out of the park on any of those
Yeah, I
signings in
mean
order.
the
And
microscope is so hard on all of these now.
it is just brutal. And if you can't sign a whole bunch of players and kind of, throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks, then you're just putting your team and your coach and your fans behind the eight ball. And it's just not fair to any of us.
I'd be fascinated to know how these conversations are going behind the scenes because I don't think that David Lee is obtuse. Like I don't think that he's just, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I just, that is not the vibe I get of him as a person. I feel like there's a lot happening that he was not prepared for.
Right.
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 And he's trying to deal with it as he rolls. And I think Rafa Wicki is similarly going, whoa, this is a little bit harder than I was expecting. And there's a lot more chaos than I was expecting, but we're going to kind of work through it. I wonder what those conversations are behind the scenes because I cannot believe that they're positive.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is a kick in the ass to sort of make some moves. And like I said, I do believe things are coming. I do. I'm concerned that if they're going to be significant enough to make any difference before the summer.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a valid concern.
Okay, moving on to preseason. Speaking of the coach, Rafa Wicki, who apparently I learned today got his haircut at my barber.
Oh.
So yeah, my barber's in the River Market, and I guess he like stopped. He was like at the office and stopped there on his way out to Palm Springs to get a trim.
Okay.
So good for you, Rafa. You know where to get your hair cut. This guy's been cutting my hair for like 10 years. He's like a business out with 2 locations. So like he's like highfalutin now, barber dude. But it was more of what I was enjoying last week from watching the Rafa Wicki tactics in play. First of all, the choices of players I think are at least noteworthy for this game. First of all, because he told the press, including one Daniel Sperry, that he planned on getting 75 to 90 minutes for guys that he was concerned about getting time for.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take something away from the starting lineup, I think, in that regard. And the guys that did play 90 minutes, i.e. Ian James, right? Ian James played 90 in this one. Wyatt Meyer played 90 in this one. That was your starting center back pairing. They played 90 minutes. I think it's at least somewhat noteworthy in that regard. I'm glad they won the game. I'm not sure anything really mattered after the first red card.
No.
It sort of kind of, and then the second red card and the third red card, and it was just sort of like a goddamn mess at that point. But the announcer completely missed Calvin Harris getting sent off for kicking a ball out of the hole.
I thought that's who that was. I didn't.
It was Calvin Harris.
Realize at first, yeah.
Yeah, Calvin Harris. Well, he had gotten a yellow earlier during the red card thing. Like he had somehow gotten a yellow
for dissent or something.
Yeah, well, he got the red card for like sort of the reactive sort of head against the arm against the face kind of thing, which is a red card. But I guess he somewhat like sort of coerced it into happening, so he got a yellow card for doing that, and then. For what I don't even know why. It was like the 72nd minute. Like it wasn't even that big of a deal. And he just absolutely punted the ball.
I know. I saw the ball fly and I was like, what the fuck? And then I saw the card get flashed and I was like, oh.
Look, Victor Rivas is just he's trying to get all of his red cards out before the season starts.
That's great. He needs to do that.
So yeah, I don't really after the and so a little after the hour mark, it's hard to 67th minute I guess is the first red. There's not much to take from the game, but I do think that we saw some similar things. So Bart and Manu in the middle was a starting double pivot. I wasn't sure if it was Bartlett or Ajibang was going to be who Rafa sort of preferred next to Manu in that role. And I thought Bart was pretty good in this game. I really do. I thought he was
fine.
He was active. I mean, you're right. We're on levels of good with this team for sure.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you're right. Fine is probably the right way of describing it. I thought he was active. I thought he played at the speed of the game. But yeah, I'm not like he's not Xavi or Iniesta or something like that, right? Like we're not talking about him in comparison to those guys. He was just okay.
So my issue with him, and this is a carryover from last season, is that like he was fine. Like that's the best kind of it gets, right? Like he doesn't have any one part of his game that pops, right? He's not a fantastic passer, progressive passer. He doesn't like switch the field of play really well. He's not a great tackler. He's just like kind of okay at a lot of things, and I just think that at that position, that's not going to be good enough.
I mean, I would agree with that, but I would also think like the nice thing about him is he's not like ridiculously bad at anything.
Right, absolutely.
You don't ever see him
totally
do
agree
anything.
With that. Yep.
There's no shockers coming out of him, right?
Yep.
So like there is that as well. And with this team,
you gotta take whatever.
Raise that floor up as much as we can, dude. Let's raise that floor up as much as possible.
Yep.
The other thing I thought was noteworthy is that Shapi was on the bench again.
Weird.
Well, I mean, look, it's hard to. I don't even know how to say this. Like, it's hard not to watch this guy play and go, yeah.
Like when you're on the field in a preseason match and you're playing like, you know, two players or backups to backups, and you're still
Minnesota when he looked really terrible against Minnesota, that was mostly their first team,
right?
Yeah,
I was not talking about that game. I was talking about the second game when
NYCFC at the end of that game. Oh, okay.
Oh boy, like at some point when you're playing, you know, lower quality against lower quality players, opponents, you have to show out, and that dude just has not shown out nearly enough, and so
he really looked good when they were up 2 men. Like I thought,
yeah.
Good Shapi. He actually was a big part of the last goal they scored. Like he sort of dribbled it in, but I think both. The first goal that was scored, as well as the second goal was scored, Shapi notwithstanding, were highlights of something that I have noticed that this team is like not like very much effectively trying to do, which is crash the box, get down to the end line, and then hit the Man City zone cutback. Yep. And they scored goals on 2 of those. So I do actually like that.
Very strange. They're very strange that getting behind the defense and flooding the box with runners could actually produce positive outcomes.
It's weird.
It's bizarre.
It's weird. So yeah, Joveljic flashback.
Dude, that just pisses me off so much. I just gotta like this is not.
Let it out, man. We're venting.
This is not
tonight.
rocket science, man. This is not like soccer. You know, these guys have forgotten more about soccer than you or I will ever know. But it's also not rocket science. It's not the most complicated thing in the world. And what we see going on, the reason why we're excited about it is because it's stuff that we have been preaching about for literally years. And so that's why it's exciting to watch. Is because this is what we wanted to have happen, and it's happening, and it's working. And so it's really hard not to pat ourselves on the back just a little bit. So we're gonna do that. It's okay.
I mean, there's flooding the box. There's set pieces. There's a variety of things that we have suggested over the last 4+ years.
For 15 years, I've been begging for Sporting Kansas City to just let midfielders go into the box. Just let them, just dip a toe in at least.
And instead, they had like the Darlington Nagbe thing. Like, you remember that?
Right. Yep.
The Darlington Nagbe graph.
Yeah.
The penalty area is like, oh shit.
Not allowed. The box is lava.
Yeah. I do think. So it was a Frifa that hits the nice cutback cross to Joveljic for the first goal, and it originally when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it was a nice snap header," and then I realized no, Joveljic floated all the way to about the penalty spot, and a Frifa like cut it back there, and he just slammed it, And similarly, Shallowy, took a touch before he hit the goal, but a similar deal where get all the way down to the end line, crash the end, make the defense over pursue, and then cut back to, the 8 to 12 yard area inside the box and hammer it home. These are where high quality shots come from.
Yep. It's
8 to 12 yards away from goal.
Yep.
Like it's you don't need to read every article on where goals come from on ASA to know that shots from the 8 to 12 yard area are generally good.
Yeah. Better than shots from 20 yards out, generally speaking.
You think?
Yeah.
But it's all about how do you create them, right? How do you create those shots? How can you consistently create those shots? And I am somewhat warmed by, again, it's preseason, but I am somewhat warmed by the fact that Wiki is employing methods that I think will continue to create those type of shots. Mm-hmm. Whether the players are good enough to score them is a completely different conversation, but he is doing that. And also there's a third man rotation thing. Did you see them run the press trap in the first half?
I did not. No.
Okay. So this and this is something that I don't think I've ever seen Sporting Kansas City do. They did the slow matriculation back. Sort of pass back, ended up to the goalkeeper, pulled Austin's defense all the way up, and then passed through the middle, and then to Manu on one. It was Manu on a one touch that split the press trap. And so they actually pulled the press forward, trapped it forward, and then played through it. I don't think I've ever seen Sporting do this.
Yeah.
Do you remember them press trapping like this? Like, I don't think that's something that they normally did. It looked like some shit San Diego does.
Yeah,
like,
I never got the feeling that when they did stuff that looked like that, I never got the feeling that it was like intentional.
Intentional?
Yeah.
No, you could. So originally I was like, oh, they're just pushing the ball back. And I think at first it was sort of like that. And then you saw the whole team get into position.
Yeah.
And then play from the goalkeeper's feet out. And I was like, and they had the third man rotation. That was the big thing. That's how you knew, because it was a tight pass to Manu and he had pressure coming to him quickly. And it was a one touch into space and immediately they're on the break in the positive direction. And I've never seen this team do that. That's just not something I've seen them do.
And that's something that's repeatable, right? Like that one touch into space, that is Manu's bread and butter, dude. Like that is what that dude's gonna do. He just needs to like one thing I've noticed in preseason is that sometimes he tries that one touch into space too deep and gives the ball up easily,
right? And
that turns into a 4-alarm fire.
Don't get me wrong. If he doesn't get this touch, it's probably bad,
right?
But I don't know if it's as bad as it would have been in the past because the team was sort of structured to build out from that phase.
Totally
right?
Agree. Yep.
Yeah. Whereas when he's done it before, he's done it with two defenders behind him, and that's it. And all of a sudden the other team's running downhill. So it's like it's different.
You can plan for this, right? You can take this
it helps when your fullbacks aren't sent up field the whole
right.
fucking
time.
You
can take this component of somebody's game and say, look, this is something that this player does really, really well. We're going to design an attacking plan that involves this, but that still covers our ass. Like that's what good coaches do, right? That's not like. It's like I said before, it's not rocket science. It's just what good coaches do is leverages the unique skill sets of their players in a way that is a positive for the team.
I know it seems simple.
It's not simple, but it's also not as difficult as Sporting has made it look.
I mean, in fairness to Vermees, Pep struggled with this for a little bit.
Sure.
He had to evolve a little bit, and now he's become a little bit more sort of player specific and like looking at his roster and trying to figure out how to.
He's had to bring in different profiles of players too.
They have,
like,
right? Yeah,
like Ryan Cherky. Ryan Cherky would never ever play for Pep. 5 years ago, not even happening.
Absolutely not.
Right.
No, completely different player. Like, can you imagine, like, the difference between Ryan Cherky and, like, Riyad Mahrez? Like, those are different, completely different players, right?
Yep.
And so I do agree with you that there's, like, a profile there that had to shift. And when you're Manchester City, you can do those things. But also, he had to go, the game's changed. How am I going to adapt to the game and adjust my style? And like
he still hasn't won shit with the adjusted style. Just to be very,
he may not win shit this year.
He's
right?
not going to. I mean, doesn't look like it. It's not looking good.
Just stop. Just stop. Okay. This year has been hard enough on me already. Okay.
Oh. We haven't seen anything yet, Drew. It could get way worse.
Sam was already jumping into my nightmare about Claire Hutton signing with Arsenal, and I don't even want to hear about it, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to hear about it. That would upset me greatly. Can we just... It's February. Let's just calm down. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had any other takeaways from the tactics of the games or what you're seeing from.
I mean, I don't. I think that I just have such a difficult time drawing large conclusions away. Other than just generally
not large conclusions. No, it's more just like
sure.
Was there anything that sort of stood out to you?
I'm not afraid that that. Like I think Wiki has demonstrated just in preseason that he's a serviceable coach. Like I'm not that concerned about that. He might have some ideas that kind of like raise an eyebrow, but I'm not super concerned about it. I think that it's just really hard to make to make any in-depth analysis with the roster in the state that it is, because 1, 2, 3, 4 signings, before, if they're the right signings, can completely change the way the team plays, right? Like, and we're talking like change from a double pivot to a single pivot, like really big, substantial, like, and so I'm really trying hard not to read it too much into it.
I'd be surprised if that was the case. I think that the double pivot is here to stay.
I would love that. I think that
I'd be surprised if that was going to change. I'm very intrigued by the double pivot with Manu and a 6.
Totally agree.
Hopefully it improves 6 from Norway. And
agree. Do you think that Daniel Shalhoub is the player to play that sort of 10 role?
I think he's fine to do that this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not as concerned about him in that position this year. I think if I were to look at it, let me put it this way. If Sporting Kansas City were able to get Yunson over the line and he becomes the pair to Manu in the midfield, you've got Manu and Yunson, and you can plug in Bartlett or Ajibang as needed for fitness or whatever.
Yep.
I'm sort of willing to accept that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Shallowy as that 10, sort of half 10 kind of shadow striker, Raumdeuter-ish kind of player. I think that's actually an interesting position for him to play, and I don't think he's the best in the league at it. I think we're going to talk about San Jose here in a second.
He's never played that for any measurable time. So
right, but I don't think it's like a huge area of need to fix.
Sure.
Compared to other areas of the field.
Sure.
I think the fullbacks are what they are right now.
Yep.
Maybe they get another right back, but I think Basong and Reed are what we have at right back, or left back. I think Reynolds and Davis might be what we have at right back. So left back, right back, I think are sort of there. The team desperately needs depth at winger, striker, and center back. Yep. Those are the areas where I think, and the last two are in the spine. Like, those are the ones that I'm mostly focused on. How do we get a couple more, like, high-quality center backs in here? How do we get another useful forward in here that can play the Shallowy position if necessary, as well as sub Decky off if necessary? And how the fuck do we get some winger depth? Yeah. Like, those seem to be the highest priorities to me right now.
Hey, you don't need winger depth if you don't play with wingers.
Well, this team does, sort of. I mean, it's not quite as wingery as Vermees was. I don't think it's like that, but it's different. in how they're using wingers, and how Wiki is using wingers. But Shoppy ain't it. We know that. Freefoot is mildly more than not it. And I mean, Calvin Harris is fine, but he has no finishing skills. So like there's gaps there. And so I think, and yeah, you're right. Like if Shallowy or Decky gets injured, like what the fuck happens?
Yep.
Like the front four positions and the center back positions are in desperate need of depth. I mean, all areas are in need of depth, but I think
except goalkeeper, we're good.
But we're good. Can Ryan Shaway play striker? But seriously, like I as I look at, like, if I were trying to focus on things that have to happen before March 23rd or whenever the window closes, it's really in those positions. I think the fullback position is not a place where, again, I said this earlier, I agree with Bobby Warshaw. I don't think the fullback position is a place where you spend a bunch of money and get a bunch of return. So, especially with a team like this, the aspirations of this team are not being last. So, like, I don't think you're spending a ton of time and energy in investing in the fullbacks. But I do think that the front four positions and center back are the areas where they really need help, assuming they can get someone like a Lasse Berger-Jonsson over the line.
Yeah.
If that is the case, if they get him signed, I really do think in central midfield they have a lot of options in a double pivot. If they stick with a double pivot, they have Manu, they would have him, they would have Ajibang, they would have Bartlett, they would Basong could go in there in a pinch, Davis can go in there in a pinch. They have a lot of options at those positions. Everywhere else except goalkeeper. and we, like I said, fullback is what it is. So I think those are the areas where I would focus if I was in that position.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that backup striker has to be first and foremost, because there is really if you lose Decky,
especially
it's
someone, and someone that can play Shallowy's position as well, right?
Absolutely.
Like you need someone that can do both of those things.
Right. It would have been, what's his face from last year would have been that's the kind
Mason
of player.
Toy.
No. The guy.
Oh, Santi Munoz.
Yeah, Santi Munoz. Yeah, like
Santi Munoz might be an interesting. Yeah, he might have been an interesting choice for that.
I mean, that's the profile player that if you're just
they wanted to sign him.
Signing, right.
Santos wouldn't do it for a number that made sense. Right. It seems like.
But that's the kind of player you're looking for, is somebody who can play that number 10 role, but can also play number 9.
Santi would be
they need
perfect in this system.
Yeah, he would be. Yep.
And then you could move
Calvin
Harris.
You know who would be better? Someone like Santi, but better.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like, maybe not a DP level player, but close to it, right? Like somebody at that position who can pass and score. And then you allow.
They had Thomas Muller on a TAM deal last year. Maybe we could do that.
Yep. Let's do it. Oh, Drew,
all right.
You're so funny.
I mean, well, they did. He was on a TAM deal last
year.
You're
right. You're exactly right.
Last year, he was on a TAM deal.
Yep.
Okay. We have one thing to look for this week. Hey, we finally get through the actual timeline of the podcast. We play a game. Sporting Kansas City plays a game. We don't play shit. Sporting Kansas City plays a game on Saturday in San Jose. 9:30 p.m. Apple TV. Will your son's favorite player be there?
That is the question, right? I mean, if he is there, I will serve him up a serving of pasta and ketchup just in celebration, because that's one of Timo Werner's favorite dishes, pasta and ketchup.
Are you fucking serious?
I am not joking at all.
This is worse than when Weston was telling the Italians he dips his pizza in ranch.
Oh, way worse.
God.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that it's the first game of the season. I think that who knows what to expect from either team, frankly. I would expect that San Jose is prepared because Bruce Arena is their coach, and even without Timo Werner, I think they're probably going to be a pretty tough out. And I really just like I just want to not be embarrassed. Is frankly that's what we've come to. Is if we can be like fairly competitive and not be embarrassed, I will be happy, and we can see some interesting tactical things, and yeah, I mean really not be embarrassed is the biggest thing. Like that's kind of where we are.
It's kind of wild. Like catching San Jose at this point in time is actually probably the best time to catch them because
so good. Yeah.
You know they've effectively, you know, to their own detriment, lost Christian Espinosa and then signed Chicho Arango to a new deal and then loaned him immediately to Colombia. And I mean, don't even get me started on Chicho Arango's mercurial sort of career and why that happens. But and then Josef Martinez, they don't re-sign, and he gets a gig down in South America. So they, like, I was reading the Backfield preview of them, and by the way, I know not everyone subscribed to Backfield, but Joe Lowry put an absurd amount of work into doing actual previews on these teams. We have sometimes bemoaned the level of detail that some of these national writers go into when it comes to putting some of these, you know, season previews together of different teams. Joe put the fucking work in.
Yeah,
I know for a fact that he put the fucking work in. The one he did on Sporting was by far the best that I saw of anyone that had done it. And so obviously Joe's a friend of mine, and I'm also sort of pumping him up a little bit, but he also put a hell of a lot of work into this. So if you're a subscriber to Backfield, please go read those. If you're not a subscriber to Backfield, maybe consider it, because there are people doing real sort of coverage of the league that you guys care about, and these are the people that you should probably support. Just my opinion. Anyway, I was reading that, like, 42 goals they sent that are no longer there. 42 goals from last year are no longer there. Now they've also shipped off some center backs that helped them allow like 40 goals, I think. So, you know, they are, but they've sort of gone younger and in that regard, which is interesting because Bruce, I wouldn't call Bruce like the most like youth development coach of all time, but he also does recognize talent. He knows how to use him, and
I think he's gotten better in recent years,
for sure. I had said several times on the Discord that I had thought Nico Shakiris was someone that Sporting should try to go after, because if they could get him on a cash for as a U22, I think he would have been a really good fit. He would have been a really good fit in that fucking shadow striker attacking mid role. Like, he really would, right?
Yeah.
So we're of course going to see him dish 3 assists to Preston Judd and Timo Werner on Saturday. Like, that's what's going to happen. But I think that this is a team that has some fun players on it, and I'm interested to see. I think it will be sort of that 3-4-1-2, 3-5-2 kind of setup that we've seen from Bruce recently with that club. And so, like, you tell me, because I sort of get in these weird places about whether or not it means much of anything what the opponent's team shape is based on how you want to play. Does a 3-5-2 create marking issues for a flat 4-4-2 in defense?
I would say no. And that's, you know, you want more than one. You want a numerical advantage of a +1 against the 2 strikers, right? Which you would have, you know, whether you drop a defensive midfielder back, or whether you keep a fullback home. Either way, you're going to accomplish that. I would say that given the what we've seen so far in preseason, and the fact that the fullbacks maybe aren't getting as far forward as they had in previous iterations of Sporting Kansas City, that bodes well for Sporting Kansas City being able to bottle up sort of that 3-5-2 shape, right? Because you're gonna have numerical advantage against the dual strikers, and then you'll also have you know emergency coverage out wide for the wing backs as well. So I don't think it's that big of a problem, honestly.
Yeah, and it's probably more of a 3-2-5 in possession anyway.
Right.
So,
Right.
which is a shape that most teams are familiar with combating, and that's kind of where the 4-4-2 mid block comes from.
Yep.
Is being able to address that setup. So, or it's a more defensive way to address that setup. So, I don't know, man. I have low expectations for this one.
Yeah. So I think everybody should have low expectations. I think that should be everybody's default position for the foreseeable future until we get a better read on what this club's going to look like and what the playing style is going to be, and what maybe players will be coming in. I think I hate to say that, and I don't like being negative Nelly about all this stuff, but really, like, lower your expectations. Like, you will be happier if you do that. Lower your expectations. Go in not expecting a whole lot. Like me personally, I've already said, like I'm just hoping for a team that doesn't get embarrassed. If we can be actually competitive and steal points, I will be ecstatic. Because I don't expect for that to be the case for the first, I don't know, probably half dozen games at least.
And hang on the positives from players you didn't expect.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if Justin Reynolds gets on an overlap and it's a nice cross, like those are things to go, okay, let me pocket that away. This guy actually has some things that might be able to do well.
Well, and you're watching also for things that young players do that stand out. Yes, but also things that are repeatable. And so, if you see, for instance, I don't know, if you see Jacob Bartlett, make a couple of nice interceptions in the midfield, keep an eye on that. And are those actions repeatable? Are those things that he is repeating? Are you seeing a progression in his reading of the game compared to last year? Like, those are the kinds of things to look for, because we're really sort of in, sort of a developmental and progress mode. Like, those are the things to hang your hat on at this point in the roster build, because everything else is kind of, like I said, it's a soup sandwich. And so you just kind of, focus on the positives and take away good developmental milestones in young players and things that they can build on moving forward.
Cody is basically trying to teach you how to scout your own team.
Right.
Like, honestly,
and honestly, also just not go crazy, right? Because if you just focus on results and and if you're just ball watching, like, you're not going to be impressed. I'm sorry, you're just not. It's going to be a long season. So, learn how to see the benchmarks and look for them, improvement on those benchmarks from week to week. Because if you don't do that, you're going to go crazy watching this team because they're not going to be good.
Yeah, and I think, the best way of saying that is there are probably going to be silver linings to take from this season, from the players that are playing, and it's going to be hard to see the forest through the trees unless you're trying to.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're if your way of watching soccer is what ends up on the 7-minute highlight video, you're probably not going to have a good year. So it's going to be important, and this is not me and Cody trying to tell you how to watch the game, like, or try to instruct you how to watch the game, but it's more us trying to say, hey, there are going to be good things that happen on the field for this team this year, and you're probably going to have to look for them. It's just
you are going to have to look.
It's just kind of the nature of what we're going to be dealing with this season. But I also think that that's a positive way to look at what's upcoming is finding those positives. Seeing that 25-yard line splitting pass from Jacob Bartlett where that made me go, oh, okay, I like that, right? Like, there are going to be those opportunities. I'm also going to get really upset when Steven Afrifa doesn't check his shoulder. Like, they're going to be there are gonna be puts and takes to this, and I think that's true for all of us. But I think that there are ways to like, as much you and I love this fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
We love it, and there are a lot of things to see in a 90-minute game, and not all of them are related to what happened to when that guy hit that nice shot. And
most of them are not.
Most of them are not. And I think and without like getting all on our high horse, there are ways to appreciate it as well. And we're hopeful that maybe we can help you sort of see the things that we see that we appreciate. I think there will be things I will see in this game that I will appreciate. Sure. I really do believe that. Based on what I've seen Wiki doing with the team, I think there is going to be some things that I appreciate. I don't think it's going to be great, but I do think there are going to be some silver linings and some things that I enjoy as a result, as a part of it. And we got enough young players that hopefully those are things that that they can build on and get better at.
I totally agree. We're gonna rename the podcast Silver Linings.
Silver line. We've used silver linings quite a bit. I've used it several times in podcast episodes.
It's gonna get used a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ever since we started this podcast, man, this team has not been very good. Maybe we're the problem. Yeah, we're the problem. All right. Well, we'll still be back next week. So on that note, I'm Drew. He's Cody. We will talk to y'all then.
Go Sporting.